Happy Wednesday, friends, and welcome to Aquarius Behavior, a best friends podcast.
So this is the pilot.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Hi.
Oh, that's a lot of feelings, but I'm excited about that.
On Wednesdays, we friendship.
On Wednesdays, we friendship.
We do. Oh, wait. Opening ceremonies.
I need to be back here.
Okay.
All right, we're just getting into it. This is just feeling back into the situation.
Okay, we've got to do opening ceremonies first. So let's light an incense, and then we can begin. And, Okay, Samantha, it's our very first one. This is going to be a thing at the beginning of every episode, opening ceremonies, where we get comfortable, we get settled into podcast life.
Welcome, everyone.
So I have 3 incense for you today.
Ooh!
And I'm going to let you choose the inaugural scent, okay? This is going to set the tone for this entire podcast.
You're saying that there's 3 different ways to scent?
There are 3 different ways to scent here.
All
yes.
right, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So we have got a lilac, we have got a rose, and then we have golden era.
Well, just because it is the pilot, I feel like let's get some familiar feelings with some golden era.
Golden era.
Because I feel like this is perhaps the beginning of a golden era. Yeah. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So
How long have we been burning golden era? Because this is like one of our favorite scents to burn. And it has been a scent that's been in your house. It's been in my house. I order it in bulk online, and I just have like a 20-pack in my closet at all times.
I would say circa 2014 was really when my home just fully started feeling like incense needed to be burning in most rooms at all times. But yeah, I think golden era is going to be a nice one to start us off, because even though we've done a couple of these in the secret past, now our audio actually sounds like we're in the same room. And would that have sucked if we didn't turn off the fan?
I know. I just turned off the fan, so like our audio is probably so much better.
So really what we could say is...
Welcome, everyone.
Wow. So number 1 checklist. See, we need a to-do list. We should make it art. Yeah. And it says, close the window so that the bugs can't yell at us. And then we need to turn off the fan.
Turn off the fan.
And then make sure Remus is situated. It looks like he fully is enjoying himself in his new bed.
Yeah.
Podcast pillows that
our
you
third host.
Remus.
Yeah.
And this is just feeling really nice now that the audio is equal and even. We can really focus in. Welcome to opening ceremonies, and
welcome.
The incense is lit. Golden era is smelling.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Memories.
The familiar scent.
The familiarity
of the past really making me feel safe in the space.
This reminds me of like 2018 being single gals. Chilling in the condo,
just like hanging out,
watching
on a weeknight,
British rom-coms and watching YouTube videos, painting our nails,
so much,
ordering
sushi, stretching.
That's what those smell makes me think of. So, but hey, in line, as you were saying with opening ceremonies, so also, what beverages have you brought to Wednesday podcast night? Because also part of our opening ceremonies is multiple beverages.
You'll be hearing those cracks throughout the recording.
In fact, hold on. Here.
Really nice.
There we go. Cold beverage.
I already started hydrating. I started hydrating before we started recording. I am rocking an Aspire, bought in bulk. Really interested in just the... caffeinating in my 20s, we were so reckless. And now in my 30s, perhaps looking for, slower onset, less hundreds of milligrams of caffeine. So this is a nice evening beverage that will take us through the next hour or so.
Yeah. When was it? Okay, because a couple weeks ago we got on that topic of how much caffeine you should have, and I saw that the FDA recommends no more than like 400, is it milligrams? Something? The unit of measurement used for caffeine. But anyways, a normal cup of coffee or like, a can of Diet Mountain Dew, like our favorite thing in the world, is like about 80. And so really I should be having no more than 5 caffeinated drinks. And that's like the maximum that the FDA recommends.
I would say in one normal Wednesday friendship evening.
Yeah, how much
we could we've said, well, we need to get a 12-pack because we're going to be busy making things happen in the next, 5 to 8 hours of friendship time.
Yeah.
Because, if you're just here with us for the first time on the pilot, this is my friend Morgan. We hang out on Wednesdays. And so, figuring out how we're going to caffeinate through being exhausted from our week usually. And then also jumping into how are we rejuvenating our bodies and filling up our cups during that time. Usually 5 cans of Mountain Dew is necessary.
Yeah. So this podcast is for you and I to just basically get our weekly catch up because that's what Wednesdays are all about. We started doing this like almost 2 years ago because it was when I moved. We used to be neighbors for a very long time and lived within walking distance of each other's houses. It was very nice.
And walking distance was less than 4 minutes. Walking leisurely.
Yeah, because I would always tell you from door to door, it was the exact length of Tom Petty's American Girl. And so that was like one of my jams to walk to your house because it's like, I know. And also that was if I didn't have my dog with me because of course he's going to want to stop and sniff everything. And people are going to want to talk to him because he's so freaking cute. But yeah. And so then when I moved, then we started doing just like a weekly friendship because it was like, okay, we got to catch up and make sure we're staying up to date on things because life changes very quickly. So,
especially in the last 2 years, it was just like, all right, it's only been 7 days, but let me tell you how my world has changed with all of the things and stuff. And it's been pretty cool to be able to mostly stick to Wednesdays. There's, a few things here and there that, life and whatever with schedules. But
sometimes which speaking of, next week I have to reschedule, but we'll talk about that later. But thanks for bringing that up because sometimes we have to be flexible. Sometimes we have to be flexible.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. On Wednesdays, we friendship. And if we get to podcast, we, our hearts will still be there.
And even if it's not technically on a Wednesday, it's the spirit.
It is the spirit.
Wednesday friendship. It's because it's a ritual. Like it's a very, deeply embedded ritualistic filled with traditions kind of Wednesday hang.
It's like how do we illustrate the depth of our friendship just right off the top of this podcast because it's like we're getting
10 years 12 years
it's
been known each other,
the before times and
too much lore,
the circles we ran in together and then the overlapping in life things we had together and then it was like, well, you're moving here. Looks like I'm going to be moving there too. And we just have continued to do that for the last 10 years.
Yeah. And it's been good. So
it has been good. So,
I realized that we totally, obviously, true to ourselves, got on a tangent.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
So let's bring that train back around. Okay. This is another thing that'll happen on our podcast, but you and I are really good at bringing...
We're just going to circle it back.
Circling the wagons again. Bringing it back to the original point.
Yeah.
So we were talking about beverages because we still technically are still in our opening ceremonies here. So you have caffeinated and you have hydrated. You've got some things.
I mean, we're almost 10 minutes in and we've gotten through my first beverage. And then we have some good old fashioned water that is almost out of ice. So almost out of water. Probably going to have to take a break in a little bit to fill it up. But we have just a little 2-drink situation right now. And definitely another Diet Dew coming down the pipeline in a little bit.
Love Diet Dew.
Yeah.
Elixir of life.
How are you hydrating yourself this evening?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. So I also have a Diet Dew with me. My favorite.
Cheers.
It's everything. It is everything to me. You are so beautiful to me. And then I also have a water because you got to do that. I can't remember if I ever told you this, but in college I had a professor. He was a math professor. I ended up actually like dropping that class because I was failing. But that's not the story.
It's not what this is about.
What I got from that class, I didn't learn anything about mathematics, clearly. But what I did take away was this professor was hilarious. And it was in a big lecture hall. And so she would stand at her podium, and every single day she had a giant water bottle and a giant thermos of coffee. And she would stand up at her podium and she would alternate them. And she'd talk into her microphone and just say, you guys, you gotta caffeinate, hydrate, caffeinate, hydrate, caffeinate, hydrate. And she was just a really like high energy person. So I always keep that in mind. That's what I took away from that class. So did I fail?
You know, there's no way to know.
It's up for debate.
But in my heart, you certainly didn't.
You know, I learned something.
Life lessons.
Yeah. So I am drinking, as you can see, out of my Schitt's Creek mug.
Beautiful.
That my friend made me. Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorites. And it's like super sparkly. So obviously.
It says warmest regards on it.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
And it's all of their silhouettes, their heads. And then
eyebrows.
And then on the bottom, there's a piece of cheese.
Because you gotta fold it in.
Fold in the cheese.
Oh, that's so cute.
But what does it mean? I am obsessed. I love that show. I'll have to watch that maybe again.
What does it
this winter
mean?
What does it mean? So yeah, so those are my beverages for opening ceremonies.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this setup. We're now located after a few different sound tests and microphone situations. From sitting on the floor once, to stretching while we talked.
Two floor sittings. We had one floor sitting where it was just we each had our tiny table, and then we had a floor sitting at your place on a larger but still coffee table situation when we were on the floor.
Floor sitting just sounded really professional to me, and I was just sitting over here giggling and laughing while you were saying that. Don't mind me over here laughing at you. But I do think that, yeah, with our 2 floor sittings before, we learned a lot about what to do, what not to do, how to make it sound good. And yeah, so it's exciting to be at this point where it's like, look, we're playing podcast.
Look at us playing podcast.
And we're in the podcasting room.
We're doing it.
Do you want to share a little bit about just all of the literal 100% effort that you put into this space?
Oh, yeah. Well, so we've got a table, clearly, and that's where we're sitting in our microphones and this. It's, has, what is this tablecloth? There's a tablecloth over it, but I think it's actually a curtain.
It is, in fact, a curtain that
something.
used to be in my previous home. Yeah, it's a nice burgundy color.
Yeah, you were going to throw it away, and then we said, hey, it could probably dampen sound in this room.
We were going to garage sale it, which perhaps someday in the secret pre-recordings, those will be heard. But we did a garage sale.
Special features someday.
And this box just didn't make it out, but had it in there. So little did it know, now history is being made atop it.
It's perfect because I like this burgundy maroon color because, as you know, the walls in here are purple and I painted them earlier this summer. And
gorgeous.
So, yeah, it's really pretty. And then we have colored lights because we're all about the ambiance. And so this is a very like witchy, vibey, moody kind of room. And yeah, everything is just dimly lit and there's like rainbow film on the window and there's a lot of plants next to us too because, we're both really into plants.
Super into plants.
So, yeah, this is just like my propagations and stuff because this room gets good light. I thought it would be fun for us to look at and I thought, hey, plants maybe absorb sound. I don't know. There's like plants apparently like listening to music.
I think that these plants
want to listen to a podcast.
They're going to be integral to our sound and audio recording, echoing and everything.
Yeah,
I think that filling this room with more plants is the only thing that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Right now we just have enough plants in front of the window, but this podcast room has just been lovely.
Yeah.
There's the bookshelf. We have the incense area, which again, burning golden era. take a nice big inhale of that.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have a space to decompress. And now we sit in here and podcast, which is very cool.
Yeah. It just feels calm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the nice kind of atmosphere for our Wednesday friendship.
That's right.
So,
because on Wednesdays we friendship.
Mm-hmm. So, Samantha, let's begin the Wednesday update. So, I don't know. How do you want to do this? Like, do you want to take turns? Should we each share like one thing and then we go back and forth? Because I have, how many things did I write down? They were just like some significant things that I was like, hey, I need to update my best friend about this. I think I had 3 things.
Great. Let's go through your agenda, the first item that you'd like to bring up on your agenda. And then I will bring up the items that I have written just forever in my brain.
Oh my gosh.
And perhaps if something else comes in my head, I might have one to end us on.
Right. Oh my goodness.
All right. So what is this area where we're going to call section breaking news?
Yeah.
Perhaps life updates.
Yeah.
What do you need to know?
Right.
What is the most important?
Yeah. Here's the most important things that have happened in my life from the last week that you absolutely have to know.
That's
okay.
Right. Storyline.
So first one. So I kind of gave you just a little intro to this earlier, but I want to go back to this topic for the podcast because I have some visuals for you that I didn't show you earlier. Okay, so I need to talk a little bit about my plants and the amazing things that have been happening this week. So the very first thing I have to talk to you about is how my Hoya has a flower. I could cry.
It's a crowning
I'm
achievement.
so proud.
It's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful and it smells amazing. I have no idea how it happened. Like, this is one of those Hoyas that we picked up from our friend a few months ago, and it was an adopted Hoya. I literally don't even know what kind of Hoya it is. I don't think she knew either, and she was just like, this was something I propagated.
Pacchiolata?
Is that what it is?
We're going to go ahead and pronounce
you have one too.
all of the names wrong up front about plants, but I think it's a Hoya pacchiolata.
It's because we read them, we're not hearing them.
No one tells me things out loud. Plants is a very quiet, no one talking to me activity, so it's
on YouTube,
all visual.
They say different things, like Calathea and Calathea.
Calathea and
it's just like, who are you? Just decide already. No, okay, so you saw that, but I watched this happen over a few days. And it is literally like, I told my fiance about this last night, and I brought it up to his face, and I like shoved it in his face and was like, look at this flower. And like, it's been in our bathroom for a week. And
do you see?
And like, I don't want to be over dramatic, but I just have to be honest about my feelings right now. It's literally one of the things I am most proud about. I think that's ever happened to me, because it was just, something I've always thought would be really awesome. And I've never had the environment. And so it started off a few days ago, and all of a sudden I just noticed
there's visual aids.
Yeah, there was just a little cluster of buds there. And it was like it just happened overnight. And I went into the bathroom and was like, well, doing something,
minding
my
your
teeth,
own
whatever.
business.
And my plants are just sitting there, and all of a sudden just see something weird growing. And so that was incredible. This all also happened so quickly, because within about 48 hours, so hours later, one blossom popped out among all of them. So I literally just throughout the day kept going into the bathroom and checking them. A couple hours later, about half of them popped up.
It's like they crack open almost.
Yes, it was so cool. Well, and you can see this one too is like in mid bloom. And so there's just one petal sticking out. It's so beautiful. And then finally the whole thing opened up, and it's just, I mean, you've seen it in person. It is absolutely miraculous. And like, this was the thing that just reminded me why I'm obsessed with plants, because sometimes people find out that I'm a plant person, like, you know, like people who don't really know me, like people I work with or whatever, and they're like, oh, you have some plants, that's nice. And I'm like, yeah, I have some plants.
I have just a few.
We've got like 100 plants, and they're littered all over my house. Like, and I propagate them. It's a little bit of an obsession, I would say. And that's why I love it, because sometimes, you know, a plant's just minding its own business and I don't really think anything's happening. I'm not seeing any major growth. And then all of a sudden, bam, you know, and just, I think for me too, just because I've just been tired lately, like life has seemed like a lot of effort. And then there was this gorgeous flower, just like out of nowhere, just this absolute miracle in my bathroom.
Just waiting for you to notice it.
So I just had to bring that up again because that literally, I've just been raving about it all week. Like I have a plant friend at work too, and I told him about it today. We had a meeting and I literally was like, hey, can I hold you just 2 more minutes? Just total personal thing. I just want to talk about my plants. And he's like, oh yeah, totally. And so like I had to tell him about this achievement because it's literally just grand achievement of my life. I really feel like I leveled up and it was so not intentional. It was just like, just happened naturally. And it's the fertilizer. That's for a whole other episode though. We're going to like just have a whole episode to talk about plants.
A whole different area for plants. I do think that one cool thing about Hoya is when you realize that you're a Hoya person and you realize that squeezing the thick leaves, and then you get them in your home and you're like, okay, not only do I love these, but now if I give them just everything that they want, they will reward me with a flower. And sometimes they smell amazing.
Yep.
But as
like
you remember,
that smells like yogurt.
It smells like yogurt. And so it only
so loud in the mic, but oh my God.
It was so funny. So I'm going to piggyback onto your plant, my plant comment of your item. So that's all I do. I'm just a relator. I'm just a relator and a storyteller.
I feel like this is good though, because like I offered a story and then like you need to offer, like you have to offer something back and then like it'll be your turn to offer a topic. And this is how Friendship Wednesday goes.
This really is. It's just really funny pacing ourselves and not talking at the about 40 miles an hour that we normally can do while we're like walking very quickly around the neighborhood. But one thing that I was so excited for was that Hoya to bloom. And that was the first one of mine that bloomed. And I got it with you. And it was like, okay, good luck. It's a water propagation. Let's do it. And I was so excited, and they were at the point where you could tell the little buds, they were just about to crack, and I was smelling them every day. And, you know, they don't smell until they crack. And then it was during the winter. And so that room was closed where my office is and all my Hoyas are because they give me the joy. That smell was trapped in there all day. And then I opened the door and Eric was with me. Eric's my fiance. He was with me and he is not a fan of that smell at all. I did not realize how overpowering or accurate the yogurt smell would be. So it was very cool when the next one happened, the same one that you're experiencing right now, where it's just like, oh, it smells like flowers and roses and I don't know, other smells of flowers.
To me, it's a very like fresh smell, like a fresh, clean flower fragrance. Like, I think like rose petals, like it's just very soft. I think of also like hydrangeas.
Soft.
Maybe like geraniums.
Geraniums! I wanted to say geraniums too, but I feel like geraniums are more sharp on the end, but maybe we need to go smell some flowers at the next time we're at a plant store to really figure out what our Hoyas smell like.
I actually like love that yogurt smelling Hoya because
that just like
I don't eat a lot of yogurt. It's a yummy smell. It reminded me of like strawberry Go-Gurt. And so it was very nostalgic for me because you told me I was at your house and you're like, oh yeah, that flower smells like yogurt. And I'm going down there like, oh yeah, it smells like yogurt. And I open up the door and it literally smells like yogurt spilled all over your room.
I've been cooking yogurt in like, one of those pressure cookers. And I'm wondering next time I get some bloomin' Hoyas, if I put the yogurt one next to another one, is it a mix and match? Is it an additional way to scent?
Do they fuse to make like an alternative
a crystal gem even more beautiful than the last?
Oh my gosh.
I'm so thrilled for your Hoya success. It just
Thank you.
when it
Thank you
happens,
for celebrating.
It's
the
just
Hoya
like
success with me.
Especially when you're just looking at one waiting for it to, and I will admit, we were mentioning that like, wow, right now in our world it's September, middle of September, and like, or at least it feels like the middle of September, not quite. But like it has been kind of hard to take care of the plants, especially when you have that big amount of collection. And so yeah, sometimes it's like, all right, everyone, fend for yourself. Yeah. And that has been the state of my Hoyas in the last little bit of just like, all right, everyone, good luck. Yep. And then when you bring them back from the brink and then they reward you like that, it's just like, yes, lovely.
Yeah, like we really stuck it out. Okay, last closing comment. Really quickly, we're not even going to talk about it, but I would like to know what your top 3 favorite types of plants are. And I'll go first so you have a moment to think about it, because I have realized that my 3 favorite ones to grow, I love philodendron / pothos, because honestly, like, they're just so very similar. It's like anything vining, basically. Ficus, love me a ficus. Like, I've got them all over, and I've got big ones.
Here's the thing. We're not commenting because this is sounding like a whole nother conversation. So I'm just sitting here smiling.
Just like, tell me your 3. And then Hoyas. So like, I have discovered like those are my top 3. I've had a lot of different types of plants. I've tried a lot of different plants. I have failed with a lot of plants. I realized like those are the 3 types that just I can grow. They bring me just an abundance of joy. Abundance. And so, yeah, those are my 3. Okay, you. Really quick lightning round. Fire away.
So it's going to be philodendron. They were my first love. And I especially like ones that have, like, my favorite current philodendron is my Tahiti. It's hanging in my kitchen window, and I've been able to rotate it correctly so that the vines, as they grow, are going towards the sun, so now they're kind of doing a corkscrew situation.
And they're growing evenly.
Which is fun.
That's awesome.
I went to move it the other day, and then I snapped a whole part off. And that's where your propagation came from.
Yay!
And then there's also glad hands. See, this is a different episode. And then, so philodendrons, and I'm going to say Hoya because they're just, once I figured out what they were, it was just like, well, great. And then, you know what? Coming out from unexpected corner, we're going to say alocasias. I know. And I'm not looking to, would you have cried if I said begonias? Because,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, alocasias, it turns out that, because I did a terrarium for a while. No, this is for a different episode.
That's for a different episode. No,
you know what?
I can't
Get out of here.
I can't even comment on
I'm
that.
not even going to tell you my secrets about my alocasias.
I'm just going to pause you. Let's put a pin in that.
I'm going to put it on my teeny little pink post-it.
Yeah, let's write that down.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay, Betty. So that was my first topic. The first thing I had to share with you was just about my plants. So thanks for celebrating that win with me. And now it's your turn. I'm gonna toss that birdie back to you. Virtual. Word badminton.
Nope.
I tried it and then it didn't work.
Here's the thing. I almost made a badminton reference earlier, so that's very funny. I'm just gonna birdie over to you.
There's also this mound of fluff and pillows between us, and so it's like a wall, and I just feel like I need a little football or a little birdie or something. This is terrible. We can edit this out.
No, serve it over the net. It's like back in the days of scouting where you had a talking stick, and it's like, yes, now.
It's like, what?
Spirit stick. So the topic that I wanted to bring to your world today, that's just been giving me a lot of joy this week.
Tell me a story.
So, as you know, one of the big things that happened in my world in the last year was that I moved to be closer to you.
Friendship forever.
Because my 25-minute commute on Wednesdays just was not working for my life.
It was too far. And then, like, your fiance also lived in another part of town. And so, like, just everybody was too spread out.
The amount...
unacceptable.
The mileage I put on my car in 2021.
Yeah. And for my fiance to get to you guys, it was just like, this is not...
We had to bring it in. Yeah. We had to huddle up. And so...
Circle the wagons, people.
That's what we've been doing the last year. And so one thing that I truly loved about my previous living situation was the fact that my cats could still experience outside. Mm-hmm. We did have a screened-in porch, and I had just a lot of good memories of them enjoying that space. Mm-hmm. And so now we are in our new home, 25 minutes closer to you. Within walking distance.
Thank God.
Because this is the journey. And so I really wanted to create that same energy for them. I have 3 cats. 2 of them are mine, in my financial umbrella, let's just say.
Yeah.
And then my fiance.
Your dependent.
My actual furry dependent. And then my fiance brought his cat. So I have Misha, our oldest, Maddie, she's our middle child, and then Maven.
She is such the middle child.
Maven is
such the youngest. Just princess. By the time you get to the third one, they're just like, I don't care. You don't care. Like, you're the chill parent now.
Mm-hmm. It's been very funny seeing how they're all interacting in the new house. Mm-hmm. And Eric and I met after we had our cats, and it was just a coincidence they had all M names. So that's been kind of the running joke. But Misha's, we're going to talk about Remus in a minute, but just for anyone who's, wondering, getting the visual, I have a tabby, long hair. That's Misha. Mm-hmm. Maddie is a calico, or a tortoiseshell. Eric will correct me, because, we have at least one fan. Is she a tortie? I'm going to say tortie.
Yeah,
he said those
calicos. I've had a calico, and they have, like, white usually. Like, they're usually white underbellies. So, she's, like, really dark and she's beautiful.
Meeting her and her personality, and, like, I didn't know about torties. Joel, cut all of that out. I didn't know about torties and their just personality before I met Maddie. I didn't know that was like a real thing. She's like a dog. She's just she'll follow me around the house. And then
very animated. She always greets me when I come in the door.
She's like, hey.
And she's right there. And so, that's how I got this big bruise on my arm. Because I was like bending her off and I had bags, and then I'm like catching the door with my arm, and
she'll sneak out. Her. She ran out today. Anyway, okay, so
what an adventurous girl.
We're gonna continue.
I love her cat so much.
That is
I need to stop talking and let you tell your story.
But it's on subject, because then I have Maven. She is our youngest. She's like 6, but she got a lot of teeth taken out, so she just has one snaggletooth in the front and then a couple others in the back. But it just really has brought out her personality, because her mouth doesn't hurt anymore, as we've experienced with our pets. It's like, hey, get your animal's teeth cleaned if you can do it, because, oh my gosh, even though we're depressed during, the journey, she was so thankful to just get all of the things that were hurting. So now that's really brought out her other personality, or just more of her personality. Mm-hmm. So these 3 cats have been getting used to the space. And one thing I wanted to be able to do was just create a little bit more of an outdoor area for them. And so instead of really being able to enclose my outdoor space, we decided to pop up a fence and then buy a bunch of harnesses and just little, they're like vests that Velcro in the back. And then I got a blinking little light keychain and some jingle bells and put them on each harness. And now the girls all get their vest on in the morning, and each of them has, a different way we need to approach the situation to get the vest on. But as we get them outside, it's like, all right, who's first? And usually Maven is now my best vest cat. Oh. She just stands there like, I'm pretty sure I want this to happen, and I'm pretty sure it's okay.
Oh, and she took the longest warm up. Like, she just went off leash this week.
Yeah. Big steps. we're on maybe our 5th time for her to go outside, and Maddie and Misha have been outside a bunch of times.
Okay.
Maddie, we were just like, she's going to be fine because she was out, allowed at Eric's as long as we were watching her. But she is quick. I left the screen door open maybe less than 5 inches, I would say. But still, now Maddie is just running around the yard burning off all of her calories. She's not a little bit more of 3 pounds, maybe 2 years ago. And so she just slipped right out the screen, and it was like, oh, I guess we are going outside. Grabbed her vest. And then she was like, oh, I made it. Okay, I'm eating grass. All right, I'll let you put the vest on. But it's like she doesn't believe me with the vest. And then Misha's like, okay, fine, but I'll only be out here for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to go inside because I know it's breakfast soon. So it's just been really nice to wake up this week, and the weather has finally not been so hot or so sunny that it'll burn in 15 minutes.
It's fall now.
Yep. So that's just been like my really big, lovely part of my morning, is that we figured out a way to block most of the holes in the fence so that they don't get too far. If I get distracted and like one of them runs under a tree, it's like, okay, well, it only takes me a couple minutes to realize that there's actually a cat lost. But it's just been really nice to sit on the old furniture that was on the porch before. And Maven walked out there and she's like, oh, this old thing? Ah, perfect. And she just jumped right up. So that's been the thing that's been giving me life, and the ability to have my animals outside. So that's my thing. Yeah. And I know that like we also have lots of adventures with your animals outside.
Okay, I just love that your backyard has become nature camp.
Oh, it's nature camp. It is.
It's nature camp with Mima and Peapod. And
yep, 100%.
I was delighted to witness your cat's playtime, because you've been sending me videos of them going outside for the past probably 2 weeks. And so I've seen this evolution through videos. And so to actually get to experience it the other day was magical. And I was on my phone and I am like just creating videos and sending this content to everybody I know. And I'm like sending everything to your sister.
Such a nice way. Yeah, you were able to come over
like,
in
dude, look at these cats.
The after work time where it was like, hey, want to watch 3 cats walk around the backyard? And you were able to bring Remus with you.
Yes, because then it was like, great, well, here's his pee break, because sometimes I just cannot do a walk. And thankfully he's a small dog. And so we can either go on a walk or we can run around in the backyard for a couple minutes and chase a ball, because he's also 10. So like, yes, he's good on the exercise. So coming over for, nature camp afternoon was delightful.
Yeah, Twilight camp.
And just seeing them all prance in their tiny harnesses, and they all have, a different color harness, and they all have a different color light that, blinks
or has solid. Yeah.
They all have different colored jingle bells. And so it's very much also like very, fashion chic. I mean, so we call it nature camp, but I mean, it's definitely like
glamping.
Oh yeah. Like they're strutting like they're on the runway.
Oh,
it's adorable.
Yeah. It's been really cute. So just the ability to have the pets outside, because I don't get a dog anymore. Like that's just not something that fits in the world that we have going on with 3 cats already.
No.
And so just the ability to sit outside without Misha just yelling at me from inside. Ooh.
Excuse me, I just hit my table.
What's up? We got a nice setup going on in here. But for Misha to just be yelling at me from through the screen door, just like, hey, so I used to be able to go outside, but now I'm not outside, I'm inside. What's that about? I see you.
What's that about? Yeah.
What's that about?
What is that?
So, yeah. And I mean, your cat is able to be back in your yard.
Jojo.
Yeah, she doesn't need a harness because she is land bound.
Because like I grew up without a fenced yard. And so like we had cats growing up. And so it was always very dangerous to have cats outside. And so like I had a cat that when we were outside with it once. And so like it was a very serious thing because we didn't have a fence. And so like we couldn't protect it if it ran away. And so I just knew that when we got a cat like 2 years ago, that I wanted it to be able to go outside. And it's really cute because turns out we got her when she was like, we adopted her when she was 9 months. You and your fiance were there on her adoption day and helped us bring her home. And so, yeah, she has really learned from Remus, our dog. And so she has caught on that he goes outside, you know, to go potty at different times during the day. And so she now has different times during the day where she just goes to the door and starts meowing until I let her out. So
pretty sure it's time to go.
Well, and I've thought about trying to bell train her. And also, would your cats do that? And so then instead of trying to escape, they can, you know, Matty can ring her little bell.
Ding, ding.
With her little paw and just go, jingle, jingle.
Oh. Meow. But then, okay, so we would have to put it away at night because you know what we'd hear at 2 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, no.
Dingle, dingle, dingle.
Up there because they will know no boundaries.
No, they don't know any boundaries.
Like have a, you know, like a high hook then, and then you move it up there.
That's it.
Out of reach.
It was like the other night when
you're already thinking.
When we were enjoying the office level and you were here around dinner time and it was like our dinner was just the only food that the cats had ever seen. There's no boundaries with them. No boundaries. There's no personal space. If you have food, it's likely my food. Can I smell it? Is it for me?
Right. Yes. It was too much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for telling me a story about your cats because I love... You know I love pet content. It's one of my all-time favorite things.
It's just the fact that they get along
all day.
And they play outside. They're so pictures
sweet.
To come. It's just very cute.
They are very cute.
Didn't know that it would give my heart such warm fuzzies. So, yeah.
And I've also known your cats for a long time. Like, I've known your cats as long as you've had them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I met Maddie when I met your fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's been fun for me to get to see Maddie on a more regular basis since you guys moved closer to us.
Yes.
Maddie and I are getting to know one another. You know, I was just occasionally that person who visited and, like, gave her extra treats. And now it's like, oh, you're here, like, once a week.
At least.
All right. What's your purpose? Like, does my human like you? Is this okay? Like, she's really scoping me out.
True. Well, yeah. And I took the Tupperware from our garage sale from the lost episodes.
Yeah.
But I took that Tupperware and put the treats in there because Nathan likes a different type of treat as well.
Right. With all those different little containers.
And so now shaking the container,
that's
because I keep that in the little basket by the back door. Then I have jingle bells running, and it is just so we're really upping the game of just making that really just streamlined so that it can be low stress and it's not like we're letting the cats out and now it takes so long to get it back in.
It's about proper training.
That's right.
Like, way to go, you. I mean, you're really being thoughtful about it.
I like that they let me think that I'm training them, and at least they're not actively trying to escape, which is all I can ask for.
Because we actually know how stubborn cats are. They're buttheads.
I love them so much.
Okay, I love my cat, but she can be a butthead. Okay.
Precious.
Yeah. But I also do that with JoJo is I lure her back in with treats, or I let her out in the garage because we have a very lovely garage situation where we have a ceiling fan and we also have a heater. So, when it's not super, super cold or super, super hot, there's sometimes she can go and play out there and have a lovely time for 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
One thing I want to make sure we talk about, what kind of cat and dog do you have?
Oh my gosh.
Talk about,
JoJo is a tuxedo. We adopted her from a pet store. So it was really cute. We went in there to buy stuff for our dog, and then I saw this cat, and I was like, oh my god, look at her. She was just a 9-month-old baby, and, her owner got her during the pandemic, and then gave her up because they were like, hey, turns out I'm, never home. And so we got this cat. This poor baby didn't have any socialization, just she took a while to warm up to us, and she still sometimes is a little standoffish around people, but she's really warming up to us and becoming very cuddly and cute. And so she is actually going to be 3 years old.
Oh.
Her birthday's in September. I can't remember which day exactly, but yeah, she's like 3. So how cute is that? Jojo. Little Jojo. And we named her. So yeah, this is also my fiance's and my first pet because I brought a dog into our relationship. But this is our first pet together. So this is like our congratulations. Just brought the family together.
It's true.
It's family.
Well, and for years we joked that Remus needed a pet, but I would say that while Jojo is not Remus's pet, she is just a lovely co-pet in the home.
Yeah.
And it's really cute seeing their relationship kind of work itself out.
Oh, yeah.
As she just gets more comfortable being a rescue and everything.
Totally.
Just like, aw.
Yeah. She's like really cute and I cherish her. Mm-hmm. I wish that more people saw her playful side, but it's okay. Most people don't like her. But that's okay. Then they just won't come over and then I don't have to entertain anybody and I can just be in my home.
That's their
alone.
loss. Jojo likes me.
Jojo, she's like, yeah, she's okay around you and your fiance. Mm-hmm. She cuddled with your fiance once. It was huge and like Joel called me out and was like, you gotta come see this.
Momentous.
You gotta come see this. Mm. And it was exciting. And so that's Jojo. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Remus. Remus Bear. Remus Bear. Buddy.
He's fully sleeping.
Is fully sleeping. He is our third co-host. He will be here every single podcast because he cannot be out of, like, you know, I can't be out of his sight, I should say. Like, he always has to be somewhere where he can see me or sense me.
You know, the sight lines are important, and the heavy breathing.
There was deep imprinting happened, like real deep. Mm-hmm. Remus was also a rescue.
Yeah.
And so we have been together for 10 years. Actually, today is our 10-year anniversary, which actually segued me into what I was going to talk about. If you're okay segueing, because it like actually you were talking about your pets, which was perfect, because then this is what I wanted to talk about.
Hook it right onto the caboose. Nope, this is great. Let's keep going.
We didn't even plan that. That was so perfect.
How it is though. It's like we have the vibes, dude. It's the vibrations where it's like, hey, me and my Aquarius energy experienced these things this week.
Yes.
What did you and your Aquarius energy experience this week?
Okay. So, so today is Remus's Gotcha Day.
Oh.
And I always remember this day for that reason, but also it is my sister-in-law Rachel's birthday today. So like shout out to you.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rachel.
But that was a very cute thing when she found that out. And I was like, did you know that your birthday is also on Remus's Gotcha Day? Because everyone loves Remus.
Yeah.
He is a Shih Tzu. And he is the most precious boy in the whole entire world. He is a fierce guard dog. He takes his job seriously. I mean, he's always on duty. Mm-hmm. Very vigilant.
Protector of the realm.
Mm-hmm. He is our alarm system on top of the actual alarm system that we have.
Yes.
But also, if that were ever to be faulty, he's here.
Just like, hello? Just need to let you know.
I heard
someone's here.
Someone throw a stick down the street.
I smell a dog.
Yeah.
We're getting closer.
He's just fantastic. And so like, I love him. He has been with me for 10 years today. 10 years. We've been together for an entire decade. Yeah, so I love him so much. He's my everything. And he just sits here. So he has a pillow on the floor with a blanket. And there's also an ice pack under that blanket because he likes, you guys, oh my gosh. He has such a personality. So, you know, he's a little Shih Tzu. He's like 9 pounds. And he's so small. But he wants to cuddle. He needs to cuddle on a blanket. Like he will fuss and then he'll scratch at the floor passive aggressively like, well, I don't have a blanket to burrow, so I guess I'll just have to scratch this carpet. So,
it's like, well,
you babysit him now. And so you know what I'm talking about, right? You've experienced this.
We'll be in the middle of talking and all of a sudden I'll be like, what is that noise? And it's just Remus scratching in the corner, just being like, well, fine. If there's no blankets around, then I'll just have to make do in this corner.
Right.
It's just the most precious.
Yes.
And it's like, well, of course. So he also has designated blankets at my home because it's like, hello, sir.
Him.
Let's get your blanket out. Let's get the situation going. Let's just make everyone comfortable.
So he has that. He's on a pillow, which is then covered with a blanket. But then under that blanket, in between the blanket and the pillow, is an ice pack so that the blanket is cool for him because he's a very fluffy dog. He looks like an Ewok.
He does.
That's what everybody has said since the moment I've gotten him. That was what I thought when I saw him too. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Dark little face.
He's a little Ewok.
Oh, precious.
He's so cute. He looks like the main Ewok, you know, with the orange thing.
Well, they really figured out his
Your
haircut.
sister would know. She could tell us.
She would. She could.
We need a Star Wars expert. Insert the Star Wars expert here. And
no, and I think that that's the cutest thing is that, like, just in the last, I would say,
he's
couple
happy.
years.
Look at him. He's not panning today.
He's thrilled.
He is napping. He's so happy.
But, like, with his haircut, especially in the last couple of years, whoever you...
He's a dapper man.
He really is just so gentlemanly because I've seen it short.
Yeah.
I've seen it long. I've seen it real short. And I've also seen funny faces when it's just like they cut just the ears a little bit too short or long, or like the face is just, and it's like, oh, honey, you're going to be back to yourself in just a few weeks. You just got to let it grow a little.
It's like looking at someone's like school pictures from when they were a kid and you're like, oh, that was the year you had braces. Oh, that was the year you cut your own bangs. Because I definitely tried. I have like a pet, you know, cutting thing. Grooming, that's the word. See, I don't even know what it is and I have it. I can't be responsible for that.
Was it the dog where you put different type of fur on it and then you could cut the fur?
No.
It was a toy as a child? Okay.
Oh, I didn't have that. It was a toy as a child.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I have the family videotape I need to show you.
That's a whole other episode. Write that down, please. Nostalgic toys, because I want to hear more about that. I do not have that. No. This is a thing I bought online, and it's just a pet grooming kit, like a dog grooming kit.
That's
so
right.
It has, you know, like all the different shears you can use and whatever. And, you know, it's one day bought on the internet, but there were people who claimed to be actual dog groomers who said, hey, I bought this because my professional shears had to go into the shop, and you know what? They weren't that bad. So it was like,
wasn't the worst.
Good enough for me. But turns out,
so cute.
Turns out dog grooming is really hard, and respect is not for me. And so, yeah, so that's Remus, and today is our gotcha day. And
congratulations.
Thank you.
Huge.
You know, and he's my everything. He's so precious.
In my mind, I'm going to just take a moment to think of just some still frames of Remus over the years. Running through yards and going on walks, running into the sunset. The cute picture you took the other day of him looking into the back of my yard. Just adorable.
Oh,
Congratulations, Remus.
I know. Isn't he so cute?
What a good boy.
And also, like, I'm very excited to one day show my fiance this. You're listening while we're editing. But, like, look at when I tried on my wedding dress, Remus definitely just needed to, like, sit all over that. So
he just put his little
body.
He
just had to put his body on it. And he was like, Mama, what is this? And so it was just really cute. So I'm excited to one day show my future husband those pictures and be like, look at our fur baby. Because he has fully adopted him. Like, he takes him on nighttime potties every night and teaches him tricks.
Gotta put a ring on that. That's right.
I'm gonna put a ring on that. So, so that is my second story for you. Thank you for letting me just caboose off of your
it's all about the
pet
caboose
news. It's just we spend a lot of time talking about our pets.
It's very true.
I need a lot of that content.
You know,
in
that's
my life.
the thing. I chose not to have tiny humans in my world, and it's like, well, for
Tiny
babies,
pets.
it's just the journey
Tiny
that we're
pets.
going on.
Yep.
And like, before we moved to our home, Eric and I thought that we were going to get a dog and, do that thing. And I was like, oh no, we're good with the cats because they are enough work and enough energy and also just enough all of the good, lovely, awesome things. So it's the correct number of pets right now, but I do miss having a dog, and Remus definitely helps me scratch the puppy energy.
Yeah.
He is just a precious gentleman.
Thank you. I appreciate that you have become available for babysitting because our list was real short. It was basically just my parents, who are wonderful, but like also they deserve to be going and doing things, and you can't always rely on them. And sometimes we are going places together. That happened twice this summer, where I was like, well, don't have babysitters because I'm literally going somewhere with our puppy sitters. So thank you.
Really messed up that situation.
Because then it's like, well, shoot, we're going on a vacation, or like we had a family wedding to go to, and it's like, well, who's gonna watch our boy?
Yeah. Well, and now, as you saw, one of the first times after he came over for Camp Meepaw, as we started calling it, for the weekend camp.
Camp Meepaw.
The next time you came over after he actually had a sleepover at our home, we were going up to the upper level, and he just booked it down the hallway and ran up because I hadn't taken his bed down, and it was just like, gosh. Oh, are we here and are we sleeping? Is it happening? It was just, he was never able to really relax at my previous home, and so just having him be able to actually chill out, and for my animals to get along with him, it's like exposure therapy over 10 years.
Yes.
Like, they have been proximity,
Finally. It's working.
Yeah, I mean, we're wearing them down slowly but surely.
Everyone's becoming friends, finally.
Yeah, but I think that's a significant part of just our weekly updates. Is, all right, well, what's new with the pets?
What's new with the pets? What are they doing? What are they up to? They're characters. All of our pets. All 5 of them. Yeah. What characters?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've talked about plants and we talked about our pets.
Yep.
Those are pretty much the big things. I would say those are the main things bringing me joy this week. And yeah, I'm ready to call it. And, closing ceremonies.
Closing ceremonies.
Little stretch break. Like, Wednesday is all about being kind to our minds and bodies and emotions and connecting.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. Check.
Getting a little bit more incense going, perhaps some lavender for the end of our evening closing ceremonies.
Yep.
And definitely working on stretching the low back, the back of my legs, quads, calves. Just really, those ligaments have been working very hard this week.
And hydrating.
And
yeah, you've been doing a lot of hydrating.
Ew, I know.
A lot of it, yeah. And like my ankle is all weird because I've been going up and down my stairs, moving stuff in my basement, and
hashtag garage sale.
Yeah,
from the secret times.
Let's go be kind to ourselves.
Yep.
Just go do some body worship.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Let's find the good energy.
Honor thine-self.
Yep.
Self-care.
Find the gold under all of the plaster.
Ooh.
And just
your Cody meditations.
We're just gonna feel good about ourselves. So happy stretching and thanks for podcasting on Wednesdays.
Oh, happy Wednesday, friend. Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Great.
And done.
Nice.